All right, so looking at this problem, you got the domain just fine. The problem that I'm seeing, you got the range, but what you're not looking at, I think what you're doing is you're looking at the circles on the end here as they relate to the x-axis. Okay, so the x-axis has a circle that's filled in and it has a circle that is open, which is why you did less than or equal to and then less than. But if you look on the y-axis, right, the y-axis has a circle that is filled in and a circle that is filled in right here, right? So that's filled in and that's filled in. So therefore, this sign should also be or equal to. That is the only thing you got wrong. You've got to look at what is relative to the y-axis and it's filled in, not open. That's the only thing you got wrong. If you go back and fix that, then that's correct. Okay, let's look at the other one that you had problems with. So it says find the surface area of a right triangular prism with a base of 10 and a height, let me get the other pen here, of 12. And then it has a depth of 15. Those are your dimensions. So what we've got, if we lay out our net, right, we've got the base that it's sitting on is 10 by 15. So 10 by 15. And then you've got the triangle here, which is 12 by 10. And then there's another one on this side. That is basically a really bad drawing of a triangle. But it is still, whoops, where'd it go? 12 by 10, right? So two triangles that are 10 base, 10 feet, and a height of 12 feet. Okay, so there's two of them, so we multiply that times 2. So in order to do the triangles, we've got that calculation. All right, let me go back to my net. We've got a side here, right? So we've got a side here, and we know that it has a width of 15. And we know that this has a width of 15. What we don't know is the surface or the length here, and that's what we've got to find out. So we know if we have a right triangular prism. So this is the wrong picture. Let me undo this. This is still true, but we have a right triangular prism. So let me get rid of this picture and draw the right picture. What we actually have, because it is a right triangular prism, and I read that incorrectly, is this. We have one of these that looks like this, that has a length here, right? And that's a really bad picture also. All right, give me a second. Let me draw a right triangular prism for you. All right, this is an adequate drawing of a right triangle. So you can see how that creates a difference. So when you have a height of 12 feet here, you don't have to find the height, right? So that keyword right here is what gives us the illustration that we need. So 12 by 10, this is still true. We have a base of 10, a height of 12. There's divided by 2 times 2 because we have the front triangle and the back triangle. So our net looks a little bit more like this. Here's our base, and we have a triangle like that. That is 12, and then this is 10, this is 10, and this is 12, right? What that means is that this hypotenuse is a lot easier to find. So that we do this, and then we have the other side here. So this width is 15, 15, 15. So those are all of our surfaces. We just have to find the slope here for one of the sides. So the base is 10 by 15, And because this is 12, we know this is 12. So this one's 12 by 15. So we just have to find the hypotenuse to find this side here. So the hypotenuse is going to be a squared plus b squared is going to be equal. We don't know what c is, so c squared. So 144 plus 100 is equal to c squared. So 244 is equal to c squared. So the square root of 244 is equal to c. So what is that? Let's see if we can find that. 244 square root. Okay, so we're going to round that to two places since there's a 0 right here. Whenever you're looking at where do I round a number to, typically we use two places, but also a way that mathematicians use is they look for the number to drop. And when the number drops, that's usually where you round it to. And it drops here at the 0. So 15.62. So we're going to use that number as our value, 15.62, for C. All right, so 15.62. So now we can do the calculations for all of those. So we've got 12 plus 10 plus 15.62. All of that is one big rectangle, right? So we've got 12 plus 10 plus 15.62 times 15 feet. So I'm just going to use my calculator and add all those together. 12 plus 10 plus 15.62 times 15 gives me 564.3. Now I'm going to do this calculation. These would cancel, so that's just going to equal 120, and all that's feet square. So I'm going to add 120 to that. That is 684.3 feet squared. And I think I also allowed you to just use 684 feet squared, this answer or this answer. And that would be your solutions. And that is all I have for that particular. This is lesson 102 that you requested help for. And that's all I've got. Bye for now.